Hello YouTube, welcome to Dendrick's Evening Toy, the channel that is a positive force for change. Change into a truck, am I right? So tonight we're going to look at all of the Autobot Titan Masters. Well, perhaps not all of them, but the lineup that we have here in front of us. I'm going to do a few of them separately. Already done some of them, and Hot Rod, for example, we have, but he'll be in his own video. So tonight we'll look at these guys. This is sort of the classic assortment, the classic 4 Autobot Headmasters, plus Getaway thrown into the mix there, because he's a straight-up repaint of Chromedome, apart from the head. And you'll see he's customized a little bit, so, well, let's talk about him first. Getaway is quite a good figure. I like it a lot. The only thing was it was a bit too white for my liking. I noticed the old toy had some extra color, because the old toy, well, the old toy looked like this. And it's hard to get images of him from the comics or anything else, but I wanted to make his legs kind of this red color because, as you can see, the old toy has the windshield, the back windshield become his legs, and on this toy it's reversed. It's the legs are backward. So I flipped that around. Well, I painted this to resemble that color. And I did that just with a sloppy mix of Tamiya basic red mixed with this paint that I picked up, came free with an order, and I made this sloppy mess and it kind of came out to be that color. It needs a bit of a touch up, but it's not bad. And then for the arms, I know it looks kind of like he's wearing, like he's got sleeves here, but I just used a Mr. Color, what is this? Oh, it's US Navy Blue Angels blue. So that's a pretty good match. Oh, and I also, to give him the silver line that he has around his wheels, I just put a silver Sharpie there. I just popped the wheels off, and because these are translucent, they're kind of smoky clear plastic, I just put some, it doesn't really show through. These wheels should be black, but I'm kind of afraid to paint them because you can't really paint it translucent again, so that's that. And I tried to color in his eyes, which are yellow, and I think they should be blue like most Autobots, but I need to fix that. So I think that looks pretty good, and here's his Titan Master, and oh yeah, so there's no paint on his Titan Master, unfortunately, but this is a Hasbro release. I haven't heard any word of us getting a Takara version of this yet, which I imagine would be more accurate to something, but yeah, I haven't, I don't know if we're getting one, so I think that looks nicer. And let's go into Chromedome. He is the leader of the group. And this is the Takara Legends version. That's why he's got the head that looks more accurate to the cartoon. At least the Japanese cartoon. This one I was kind of on the fence about because the Hasbro version has an IDW style head, which looks pretty cool, but I don't like how I didn't like the legs being so tanned and not quite, you know, they took a few too many liberties, which is usually my beef. Let's compare them. This is the only Headmaster I have. I happen to have the Generation 1 Chromedome. So we'll get him in there for comparison. So there's Generation 1 Chromedome, and this is what it would look like next to the Hasbro one if I had it. So yeah, a lot more faithful. It's amazing how large these Headmasters end up being in comparison. I feel like I've shown this guy before. Did I do this? I guess I compared it to the head. So let's transform it. So there's the two versions of Stylor. A lot more detail on the G1. Well, I wouldn't say a lot more detail, but it's just bigger. So, but nice paint on the Takara. And look at that, even though it's so small, they've got 3 different colors of paint on the head of the Titan Master for the Takara version. And I guess that's why they cost a bit more. You're getting some extra attention to detail there. So we'll set Stylor aside with his stupid name and transform this dude. So yeah, just fold these in, fold this up. The back is plugged in here. There's two tabs here that plug in there. I just kind of noticed that recently. It holds that into place. Spin this around. And so it's up. Combiner Wars the legs, and I do love that Combiner Wars has become a verb now. Oh yeah, I also just took a Sharpie, 2 Sharpies, and painted in the brake lights because I like how that looks a little better. And these, I'm transforming this all out of order, but that's okay. Full view. And next here is Brainstorm. This is the Takara version as well. There's 3 different versions of this, I believe. There's a Walgreens exclusive version. I don't know why. We don't even have Walgreens in Canada or anywhere but the US, I imagine. So I hate that. I hate exclusives. I mean, we didn't have this before. Well, if we had an exclusive, it was something you just mail away to Hasbro to get. I don't understand why they don't just want to sell all the toys to all the people. It really picks my ass. Maybe this is rant for another time, but I would just like to go to the store and be able to buy the whole lineup or whatever I want. I don't know why I have to order something from a store that doesn't exist around here. Exclusive means it excludes people, and I hate that. I think it sucks. And what if you're a kid? You're not going to be able to get these characters. Anyway, for comparison, I don't have G1, but I have the IDW inspired Brainstorm from the Generations line, I think. Just, was it last year, year before? So quite a size difference between those two, and definitely an aesthetic difference. And then here's the Hasbro version, and the Walgreens version. So I do like that there's a splash of black on the Takara version. He had that in the cartoon, and this face sculpt is bang on to the cartoon. I don't know why it was so different from the toy, though. The toy didn't quite look like that. And the toy was very simple. I never had any interest in Brainstorm, honestly, the character or the toy. I just thought, well, it turns into a little spaceship. It's pretty easy to make that happen, right? If you're just doing the Cybertronian thing. So, but anyway, this is a remold of Blur. This thing does come off if you want to muck around with that for some reason. Oh, let's get Blur here, because it is extremely similar to Blur. So clearly you can see the same torso, the same arms, except for the little bits here. The same legs, same feet. So all I've done is change this bit, the upper arms, the tail fin versus this thing, and the little hand covers. I almost didn't buy Brainstorm because it was so similar to Blur. And if I'm going to have one, I would have Blur, but just because he's the most faithful Blur we've had. So it's weird that he's so similar to Brainstorm, but generally Brainstorm was that shape of vehicle, so it's good enough, I suppose. And, well, I just wanted the whole set. And I'm lucky enough to live near ages 3 and up, and I walked in there and they had him, so I bought him. And Yeah, I mean, I was waffling on the purchase online, thinking, should I order it, should I not order it? And there he was on the shelf, so yeah, it was too easy just to impulse buy him. Moving on. We'll get him transformed. I'll do this fast because I already did a blur review in my blur video, so you can watch that if you're interested. Again, 3 colors on his Titan Master face. Very impressive. This double joint sometimes gives me trouble. You gotta make sure you do that in the right order. Nicely painted seat there for him. I do like that this is held in by 2 pegs, kind of a peg and a hole there to keep it straight, so you can't rotate it. The blur one you can rotate, which I prefer just to be straight. Rolls nicely. You can fold these wings up 45 degrees, 90 degrees, or down. Well, they kind of look good like that. This reminds me a lot of the R-Wing from Star Fox. Although I suppose this design came first. There's Brainstorm. So next let's go into Highbrow. Highbrow is an interesting character for me because I always wanted this one as a kid. I just could never quite pull the trigger on buying him because I wasn't a big Transformers collector at that time. And, you know, I was using my money for G.I. Joe and stuff I liked a little better. His head sits a little bit high. Anyway, I'm really happy to have one now in my collection because, yeah, like I did like the head. The thing I did like about Headmasters as a kid was that you could put the Headmasters in the vehicles and have them as pilots, which I thought was really cool. So this guy borrows a lot of engineering from Scourge, most notably this. He also has the same hands, which I'm sorry for telling you, because once I saw it, I could not unsee it. This thing just pops down as an homage to the original, and it's hard to get out. I have to use, there's this little slot there, it's hard to get anything in there. I use the handle of a nail clipper. It's just about the right size. Oh, I guess you could hide some stuff in there too. Interesting. And this is Gort. Bit of paint there again. I think Gort is named after the robot from that movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still, which everyone should watch. I recommend it. These people complain about Highbrow because the arms don't really do much except tab on to the sides here and here a little bit. Yeah, again, he retains this cool cockpit that a pilot can sit in. Gort. He has only double-bladed rotors instead of triple-bladed rotors like the original toy, which is a shame. And a larger shame is that they collide with each other. So, a bit disappointing. I'm still happy with this guy. I'm happy to have him. A modern version. Ooh, this is a bit tight. What's going on here? It's not just this tab together, they also have to tab down into this piece here, so I'm not hooking that tab in properly. It's a bit difficult. There. You really gotta snap that sucker together. It's nice that this is painted. I don't think the Hasbro one is painted there. It's got some different stuff going on, it's got stripes and whatnot. So it's okay. I wish they'd put a bit more effort into this one, made him a little bit wider. But it's pretty cool. And then these are interesting. There's a landing gear, you'll notice, on these guns, and you can put the rectangular tab into these hexagonal ports and put them here like this. Oh, wrong side. I think this is the main way to do that. That looks pretty cool. That way he has landing gear that go with this front one. So now he has 3. He can sit like that. The other way you can do this is, well, there's 2. You could also plug them onto the sides here, which is pretty cool. I actually quite like that configuration. Looks like a gunship. You can also tab these down on the edge of the wings here. Lots of options for this guy. Very aggressive looking, I like that too. And lastly, at least, you can combine the gun if you really want to, and have the Titan Master sit in the gun if you really insist upon it. And plug it in to the side like that. A lot of the Titan Masters have this sidecar type configuration, which I don't get. Especially on the spaceships, like Sentinel Prime has a pretty rockin' sidecar configuration for his guns, but yeah, not really not my cup of tea. So, and then we got Hardhead. So this is my only Hasbro one out of the line. I kind of like the visor, not the visor, the faceplate. I think everywhere he's pictured with a face. He's got a mouth in the comics and the cartoons. I don't know anywhere where he has a faceplate, but it looks pretty cool. And Hardhead is my least favorite character out of these. Just some kind of Cybertronian tank, which again I think is kind of an easy alt mode to pull off. You know, like Brainstorm. You just fold him up into a vaguely tank-like shape, which I guess we ought to do. Although he does have this gun which can come up right on his shoulder, and that's pretty cool. Now I think they borrowed some of the pieces here for Perceptor. I'm thinking that this tray, there'll be a tray here that folds down on Perceptor, and this will be his scope, but it has a bar here it can slide across to put it on both sides, which is good. That's my guess. Now he can do some other things too, which I'll show in tank mode. For now, let's get him transformed. We just kind of collapse these a little bit. These fold down. This opens right up and flattens out. These become the front treads. This is kind of neat. The pin just pushes into here. I haven't seen that used before as a tabbing mechanism. And this is folded back. And these do an interesting little split here. It's a pretty good toy. As I said, character aside, it's pretty cool. So that's Hardhead. He's got this rolling wheel here. It's a bit skeletal. And he's got pegs here for the Titan Master. If you want, you can have him... oh, they painted the face on this, even though it's Hasbro. That's good. So you can have guys stand on the side and the back here too. And of course he does go in the cockpit. But also, you can have somebody sit in the gun turret. So this double hinges back, which is cool. I like that you could have a gunner there. It actually makes sense on a tank. And it doesn't fire a stupid missile. If you can believe that. Or does it? No, I don't think so. Yeah, and you can tilt this up, and it even pivots. So a very good tank. And then you can put this gun in there if you want to as well. He's a bit loose here, but that's just because I'm transforming on camera. So there are our 4 Titan Masters plus Getaway, and I'm pretty happy. Getaway needs a better paint job. I hope we get a Takara version of this. I mean, it's not bad, but look at these stripes. That's lame. I need to do the taillight Sharpie thing on this guy too. But I'm quite happy with this whole line. I mean, Hasbro's got me by the short and curlies now. I mean, they just keep cranking out these G1 characters and I'm a sucker for it. I like them. I like the engineering too. They're not too complicated, they're not too simple, so they're fun to transform and fiddle with. I mean, they're not perfect. I'm always going to have some complaints, especially about the Hasbro stuff, because, you know, they just don't put enough paint on them, and there's so much detail that's molded into these things now. I mean, it's really good. Look at the little, all the venting and hardhead here, and just some of the nice design stuff. It's very cool, but it gets lost in the washed out colors without the paint to pick it out. But it's still very good, and it's very nostalgic for people of my generation who, you know, grew up in the '80s, where these releases, it's like the same lineup, the same characters coming out again, but with modern engineering. And I really like that. I know not everybody wants them to keep going back to the well, but it's not the only thing that they do. I mean, they are producing other stuff as well, so I'm happy with it. I've been getting a lot of the Takara stuff because it's more faithful. You know, it's aimed at me. I'm really enjoying the line, and I keep thinking, you know, one more and I'll have the set. I'll be complete here, but then they keep announcing more stuff. Now they've got the monster bots coming out. There's Hot Rod in there too. It's really good. It's a really good lineup. They're doing some Target Masters and stuff like that. Well, Hardhead is going to be repainted into Quake, a Decepticon Target Master. I don't know if I'm in for that, because the tank mode, the G1 tank mode was just a conventional tank, whereas it's just going to be a repainted version of Hardhead, which is not quite right. But then, I don't know. Anyway, I think that's all I got to say about these guys. Again, I really like it. Highly recommend it, especially if you go in for the Takara versions, if you've got the cash. They are hard to collect. You know, it's weird. When they first came out, all these guys were about, what, $20 US or so? 30? I think they're about... I think when they released the Takara versions were all about $30 US. And I thought I was not going to have to be in a rush. I didn't bother pre-ordering stuff because this is the main retail line. But they sold out really fast. It even took retailers by surprise. I was talking to Boris at Ages 3 and Up, and he wasn't expecting them to fly off the shelves like that, selling out. They would unpack them, put them out in the store, and they would sell out that day. So, pretty surprising. I noticed the prices have gone up since then for some characters. Now you'll notice that the prices fluctuate from 30 up to 45 US for some of the releases, which I think is a bit greedy. So yeah, I guess I don't know. We'll see if they restock these guys. Anyway, they are pretty fun. I am enjoying these. I think that Hasbro and Takara, I think the Combiner Wars line was a step in the right direction, and these Titan Masters are this Titan's Return / Legends line is even better. Again, not perfect, but for a retail product, it's pretty good. It's a lot of fun. I'm having fun collecting it. That's all I got to babble on about that. So once again, thanks for watching, and thanks for watching.